That was a little extra, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, so you've been fighting at a high level for a long time, right? So to be here, International Fight Week, UFC 303, Las Vegas, I mean, is it still like a special feeling, or is it just like the next assignment for you?
It is very special. Every fight is very special, and it's crazy. It's just, I don't know. I just feel it might be that I'm getting older and just appreciating things a lot more, trying to slow things down. Sometimes you get wrapped up in all of this, and the nerves can take over. You don't pay attention to what's really important. And I think that I've just been having an amazing time just slowing things down and taking it all in and really just appreciating this blessed life that I get to live.
Is that specific to like this camp and this time period, or is it something that you've been able to do over time lately?
You know, I think it stemmed a lot from my last fight. I was heartbroken. Felt like I got an opportunity taken away from me. Any fighter that gets stopped and it's not their choice, it's going to be heartbreaking, right? But I remember crying, being mad, being upset, being in the ambulance, and then getting shipped to the ER and hanging out back there and kind of being a little sore loser. And then realizing I'm in the ER, I just got paid, I got a cut and a broken nose, and there are other people that are getting shuffled back and with gunshot wounds, having heart attacks, with their family on the other side of the door, fearful that they're never going to be able to see their family member again. And then I just realized like how blessed I was to be able to do what I do. And at that point, I had a huge smile on my face. You know, I was chopping it up with Bryce Mitchell, and he made me laugh because he goes, "You know why they stopped your fight, right?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, "'Cause you ain't ugly." He's like, "My ass is ugly. They let me keep going." And he just, you know, he put a smile on my face. And the truth is, 18 plus years, I know in my heart I'm a warrior. I know I'm a fighter. That's all that matters. I come out here, I train my butt off. I have the ability to train with my husband. I have the ability to, do a lot of cool things with my daughter. We've been able to travel the world, see so many amazing things, and I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now. So just taking it all in, really.
That's awesome. Well said. Well, you've obviously fought the best in the world. Gillian, where do you think she stacks up against them? How do you view her skill set?
I think Gillian's up and coming. I think, she hit her stride moving to a different gym. I think that she realized that 25 wasn't the right division for her. She moved down. I don't think she's necessarily even a big 15er. I fought big 15ers that should probably have been fighting at 25. I fought the best of the best in the strawweight division, excluding Wei Li, so I just think this is another opportunity for me to fight somebody who's up and coming, who's chopping at the bits, who's hungry, and has a great skill set.
Yeah. Is it as simple as you need to keep it on the feet and she needs to get you to the ground?
I mean, it sounds that simple on paper, right? That's where she's good at. We all know that. I don't think her stand-up is that dynamic. She uses her stand-up to get her opponents to the ground, and then that's where she really shines the most. But I have great groundwork. I want to say probably these last four opponents that I've had, I've been trying to take to the ground, and with no success, or with the success that I did have, it was short-lived. And so who knows if it goes to the ground. I'm excited to go to the ground. I have lots of really cool stuff that I've been working on these past 5, 6, 18 years that I'd like to showcase. I am a mixed martial artist, a well-rounded mixed martial artist at that.
Last thing for me, how important is the result here, right? I mean, you've made your name in sports. I mean, do you feel like this is some kind of like, I gotta win, or is it more about the performance and knowing that you're doing the right things as a martial artist?
Yeah. Wins are good. Wins, fill your heart. It's nice. It's nice to win, not just for yourself, for your family, for everybody that puts in time at the gym, for your coaches. So I'd love to win. I've been putting in a lot of work at the gym to just go in there and perform the way I train. And when I do that, I will win. With that being said, though, my MMA record is a blimp. is a piece of dust compared to everything else that I've been able to accomplish in my martial arts career, let alone my life.
Michelle, over here. We have a lot of veterans on this card, like Anthony Smith, Cub Swanson, yourself. And Cub was in here earlier, and he was saying like he felt like his generation doesn't get like maybe enough credit with this new wave of fans that maybe kind of came in with the Conor McGregor crowd.
Yeah.
And was like telling them like, hey, do your research, like go watch the WC and this. Like, do you feel that too? Like maybe your generation, like even the beginning of the Invicta days, just doesn't get enough credit for where we are in the MMA world.
That's just the name of the game with fans that aren't the diehard fans. So I guess that just kind of falls on the fans. Maybe they're just not diehard fans as they used to be. But the truth is like I think it's really cool to be considered a veteran and still be competing at this high level. I always tell people. MMA is kind of like a dog-eat-dog world, and you either buckle up and evolve with the sport, or you get left behind in the dust. And so, again, I'm blessed to continue to be able to fight on these huge cards. I'm blessed that I still have a name that people want to come and see and watch. But yeah, it's funny. I think just in general, when people look at stats to make their decision on who they think is going to win, you can't look at stats when it comes to MMA. Every time a fighter steps into the octagon, they're a different fighter. They're fighting on a different day, and they're fighting a different opponent. So even if two fighters step in the octagon 3 different times facing each other, it's going to be a different fight. It should be, because we're always growing and evolving.
And looking at it on the other side, just as a competitor, like 20 years ago, there weren't nearly as many just MMA gyms. There was jiu-jitsu gyms and Muay Thai gyms, and you kind of had to bounce around.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of synonymous as like you've stayed at one place
Yeah.
your whole career. We don't really see that now. You see a lot of fighters will go to Florida for a camp, and then they'll go to California for a camp, they'll fly overseas and everything. So I guess, do you miss that aspect of MMA where like you're at one gym, you see the same guys every day, and you kind of all grow together rather than bouncing around?
I think it's really cool to be able to have that camaraderie and that deep bond. It is so cool, and it's something that you'll always be able to keep and cherish. My last fight, Rashad's like my big brother. When I first moved out to Albuquerque, and I had a hard time getting to the gym because I wasn't making that good of money, and I was scared, and I was nervous, and I was surrounded by amazing fighters like Rashad Evans and Donald Cerrone, George St. Pierre, the list goes on and on, right? He would come and check in on me and bring me cold medicine. He'd call me and ask me how I was doing. And so it was kind of just like a breath of fresh air when he was there at my last fight. He didn't have to say nothing. He was just there to give me a hug, and that's what I needed. But I guess with people jumping camps and this and that, to each its own. Some people feel like when they're having a rough spot in their career that they have to go somewhere else, and maybe that's the answer. But for me, anytime I have a rough spell, I always feel like I have to do introspective work and see what it is that I'm missing, what puzzle piece did I forget to bring, what tool did I forget to sharpen in order to get better. To me, I take that responsibility, and that falls on my shoulders, not my coach, not my camp.
Michelle, you're kind of going right down here, kind of going off that a little bit. There's 3 Hall of Famers on this card, but they're Jackson Wink Hall of Famers, and yourself, Cub, and Andrei Arlovski. I guess it sounds like you might be sharing the locker room together on fight night too. What does that mean to you to kind of reunite? I know they've left and it's been years, but to kind of rekindle some of that magic of those years.
It's good energy. That's good energy. I don't know the words, but that's what camp has been all about. This camp is just, bringing that good energy, and martial arts is a language in itself, and sometimes words don't need to be spoken in order to understand each other. So having Arlovski and Cub in my locker room is amazing.
And I'm also curious, we're going to talk to Paige Van Zandt in a couple of minutes after you leave the stage. What do you make of your former opponent doing a slap fight on Friday?
I've always told people, Paige, in order to be a fighter, you have to have a couple screws loose, and it's just one of those things. Like, it's not natural to want to stand in front of another person and take each other's heads off. And Paige, she just got big balls. So she's just loving life and she's doing her thing. You know, she's young, married, and just living life to its fullest. And you know, I commend her for it.
How much money would you have to get paid to do power sport?
I don't think my husband would let me do that. That or bare knuckle, I don't think is not an option.
Michelle, right here, right down the middle.
Okay, I see you.
Michelle, I think one of the things that was really cool about your career is as the women's divisions were taken off, you really just figured out the branding with everything, and you got a lot of opportunities. The Fight Mom documentary, I remember from your time doing Invicta to UFC and everything else. And it feels like there's a lot more opportunities for women now to make money, whether it be through social media and the sites and everything. What do you think has changed about the fan base and maybe about the business that has allowed more women to have these opportunities and to make that money the way Paige and others are?
I think the biggest thing that has changed is social media. It's in our hands. So basically, it's up to us if we want to create our own brand or not. And that's what I tell a lot of my teammates that are up and comers. What separates you from everybody else that's trying to get into the UFC? There's a million other guys just like you. What separates you? Yes, you're an amazing fighter. Yes, you can knock people out, but the UFC wants more than that. They want to see, because fighting, as much as we want to say is just about that, it's not. Like, it is a business, it's entertainment. We have to be able to, on our own, tell our own story. And that's the beauty of social media, is that we have the ability to tell our story the way we want. So to take advantage of that, tell your story the way you want. You have your own platform, you have your own channel to do so. And when you tell your own story and you showcase your own personality, the right brands will fall in your lap. So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Do you have advice for those teammates or those friends who are like, you know they're funny or they're this or they're that would be very relatable to the fan base, but they don't know how to present that on social media? What kind of advice do you give them to find that connection to present it?
I just tell them, be you. Don't try to be somebody you're not, but be you and lean into that. If you're the quiet, silent, mysterious type, lean into that. If you're loud and crazy, lean into that. For me, you know, I wish I wish I had the craziness and the banter that Conor McGregor has. I don't. It's not me. It's not who I am. You know, but I am kind of quirky and funny. I'm a mom. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a wife. And those are the things that I lean into.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Love you.